Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Louisville Cannonier versus Imavov. We back with another breakdown, and it's of a fight night. At least it's a real fight night on Apex card, so you can never complain about that. And it's a decent card. Yeah, I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse. 14 fights, a lot of fights. In a fucking arena, which is always great to see. Hopefully the crowd will be loud. Hopefully the fighters will give the crowd something to be loud about. Because hopefully we actually get some finishes on this card, unlike last week. One knockout and this card's already better than 302, so yeah, we have 14 chances at a finish, so let's see. Can we go one? Can this card not have any eye pokes, any shitty decisions, and any boring fights? That third one's not gonna happen, but the first two I could be happy with. Plus, can we get a KO? That's already better than 302. So, but enough about 302 in the past. Let's talk about the present. The present is UFC Louisville. Yeah, this card should be interesting. Could either be really good or really bad. We'll find out which on Saturday, but right now we get to break it down. Now, before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, yeah, I don't think I am. We want to break down some fights. Got a lot to do, a lot of talking. This is gonna be over an hour because it's me and I don't know when to shut up. Let's break down some fights. 14 to do, and we start at strawweight with a intriguing fight, kind of, in the strawweight division, as we begin with Puja the Cyclone Tomar versus Rayanne Amanda. Intriguing fight. A debut on one side, and a second UFC fight on the other. Both for champions in their respective organizations. Oh, let's see who wins this battle of champion versus champion. So I have no idea what belt this is. So she actually won a belt though. But yeah, enough talk. Let's start the breakdown with the debuting Puja Tomar, who I think is the only debuting fighter on the card, if I'm correct. Tomar, of course, making her debut on a 4-fight winning streak from Matrix Fight Night. Never heard of that in my fucking life. I'm trying to see if she's fought anyone notable. I think I've heard of her before. Yeah, she's the only fighter I've heard of. But clearly, you don't need much skill to win this promotion. Fucking 6-9, nice. So she's not been fighting high-end competition, and she's 8-4. A red flag. Let's see. 30 years old with that small of a record. Another red flag. She had a lot of finishes though. 6 finishes. KOs no less. Okay. 3 losses by submission is a red flag. So, yeah. And she's almost been off for a year. Okay, a lot of fucking red flags here. I don't really get the signing. I think she probably should have had to go through DWCS or even Road to UFC to get here. But maybe the UFC saw some we don't. I've never watched tape on her. I don't do that. I don't watch tape. I just go off my memory. That's why my breakdowns are shit and my picks are worse. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see if this signing will backfire on the UFC. Like, if the only reason she got signed because they wanted an Indian female in the UFC, sure. I'm trying to think. I think the only Indian fighter in the UFC right now is Jubilee, if I'm correct. I'm pretty, unless I'm blanking on someone that, like, I don't think her outside of her and Jubilee and Sean Jubilee, I don't think there's anyone else. So, and yeah, I'm not being fucking wrong with Jubilee, am I? Yeah, okay, no, I'm right. So I get it. They want to expand to the Indian market on the road to UFC. A couple weeks back, they had a bunch of Indian fighters, so it makes sense. They've not really tapped in that market yet, And because again, all they have is Anchan Jubli, who's garbage. So maybe Tomar can be the spark they need to start getting into the Indian market. But first she has to win her debut, so we'll see if she can do that. Because Jubli couldn't. Let's see if she can. To talk about her opponent, Rayanne Amanda. Amanda in UFC is really 1-0. She got fucking blatantly robbed in her debut. She did have a fight in Contender Series where she lost to Denise Gomes, who was in fact on this card, so just can't really complain about that. And Denise is very good, so that's a very respectable loss. Outside her UFC fights, she looks like she's been winning a lot. Like, I'm fucking outside of fucking 3 wins here, 4 fight winning streak here. Like, she's like outside of UFC, she's been doing pretty good. Fought no one notable, beat no one notable. So yeah, and then her debut, I think it was on short notice, maybe not, but she got blatantly robbed against Talita Alengar, one of the worst robberies of last year. Where did I rank it, in fact? 7th, yeah. Yeah, she got blatantly fucking robbed here, we all know it. And Alengar's a joke, so that was English. Should you be looking better versus someone like Alengar? Yes, but I guess Amanda ain't the greatest, so, but she got robbed in that fight badly, so yeah. And like I said, outside of the UFC, she has been winning, yes, versus very low end competition. Like, she did beat this Julian chick, who for some reason blocked me on Twitter, for I never said a word to her, but she did beat her to win the belt, so she has done some things outside the UFC, but definitely nothing notable. So let's see if she can get her first official UFC win, even though again she did no doubt win her debut, but UFC judging will always be shitty, so. But yeah, not a bad record, 14-7. Got a lot of fights under her belt, especially compared to the very inexperienced Tomar. So let's see if she can use any of that to her advantage to get the win here. The betting odds for this fight have Amanda -240 to +195. I think Amanda is a little bit higher. I don't think these have updated yet. They usually do that around weigh-in time or afterwards. So I don't think I think Amanda might be even a bigger favorite. I think I saw Tomar is up to like a +220, which I guess people really don't have any faith in her being any good. I don't know if I've never seen Tomar fight, so I kind of can't really give a great betting line. I might say it should just be a pick'em. You got two very low-level fighters, as I know of. I know Amanda's not a high-level fighter, and I've never seen Tomar fight. But from looking at her wins and all that, she's not fighting fucking high-end competition. So this is pretty much just low-level fighting. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I really don't look at this as this should probably be happening in like Invicta. But maybe one of them can show up and show out. We don't know. They're getting the spotlight to open the card in an arena. I'm shocked this ain't in the Apex. And let's see what happens. Who am I going to pick? You could flip a coin, and I wouldn't be mad at, like, I don't care, to be honest, but fuck it, give me Tomar. Maybe she proves she's good. Who knows? Who knows? Why not? I'll take a shot on the debuting fighter, Puja. I've seen Amanda fight. I'm not that impressed. I've never seen Tomar fight, so I'm going in blindfolded. Give me Tomar by decision. You never know what can happen. Let's see if she shows up and shows out. Give me Puja Tomar by decision. If I get that wrong, it was literally a shot in the dark. After that, this fight will not be a shot in the dark, because I know these two very well. I've seen them fight many times. And in our second fight of the night, we head to bantamweight for a fight between Cody the Spartan Stamann versus Taylor Double Impact Lapilus. We got a battle of veterans here. It's such a funny fucking coin flip. We go from two very young female fighters with like very small records to two veterans So that's actually kind of funny how that plays out. So, but yeah, we got a veteran matchup here. I think we all know these two very well by now. At least Cody. Maybe Lapilus is still growing on people, but I think this will be a more. I think people, at least for me, I know I'll give a more educated breakdown and analysis here. So, enough rambling. Let's talk about Cody Stamann. Cody in the UFC is 7-5-1. His wins are his most notable wins are Brian Caraway, Alejandro Perez, Brian Kelleher, Eddie Wineland, and Luan Larceta. Did I miss any? No. And then his losses are Aljamain Sterling, Jimmy Rivera, Merab Dvalishvili, Said Nurmagomedov, and Douglas Silva de Andrade, and then he had a draw with Song Yadong that aged really really well. Yeah, Cody's never really beat anyone that good. When your best win in the UFC is was Brian Caraway good at one point? Oh, I forgot I skipped Terrion Ware, my bad. That's not bad. That's not the worst win compared to his other ones. But when lately the only guys you could beat are Brian Kelleher in 2020, Eddie Wineland in way past his fucking sell-by date, and Luan Larceta, who's garbage. Yeah, not very good. And then all his losses are to guys with name value. Like, when Jimmy Rivera is your, like, worst loss, that kind of says a lot. Like, Sterling, it happens. Jimmy Rivera, like I said, that's your worst loss. That's not saying that's okay. Merab is Merab. Said Nurmagomedov is Said. Douglas Silva de Andrade, a very underrated fighter. So it's not like he's losing to good fighters. So he's not losing these fights like he should be winning. He's losing to guys he should be losing to. So, and then a draw with Song Yadong, which that has aged fucking terrific. So, yeah, like his record's fine. He's not a good fighter though. He's just trying to wrestle you. He can't strike. Like, I know he knocked out Eddie Wineland. I know he fucking beat up Luan Larceta, but he's not a good striker. He wants to get you to the ground and cuddle you. And when guys like Merab and Said stop that, he gets beat. So, like, doing that strategy works against these low-level cans like fucking Brian Caraway and Luan Larceta, but yeah, it's not gonna work against fucking these higher level guys. So, I've never been a fan of Cody Stamann. I've always thought he kind of sucked, and I've just been proven right time and time again. And, yeah, he's now 34 years old, coming off a over-a-year layoff, which is not very great to do at 34 at bantamweight. And, we'll see if he can get back on the horse. Coming off a loss to Douglas Silva de Andrade, which I feel like people said that was a controversial decision. I remember Stamann crying about that a lot after the fight. I forget what happened. I think like a fucking they got stood up or some bullshit, a knee or some crybaby shit like that. But yeah, Douglas did win that fight in my opinion, and now we're seeing Cody for the first time in a year since. So we'll see what happens here. Compared to Douglas Silva de Andrade, this is a step up, I would say. I think Lapilus is actually, I'd probably put Lapilus on the same level as Andrade. So we'll see what Stamann can do here. A year layoff for a 34-year-old at bantamweight's never a good sign. But you never know. You never know what could happen. Maybe he's actually learned how to strike. I doubt it. And talk about his opponent, Taylor Lapilus. Lapilus in the UFC is 4-2. Since coming back to UFC, he's 1-1. He did have a UFC stint at a couple years back in 2015, 2016, where he did go 3-1. But then they did cut him for whatever fucking reason. But those fights really don't matter. Plus, he didn't fight anyone that good anyway. But since coming back, he's looked really good. 1-1. In his return fight, he beat Callan Longrain, which ain't saying much. Callan's a fucking joke. And then in his last fight, he fought Farid Basharat, which is a tough fight. Like, I'm not really sure what to say. That's a very unforgiving fight. And he did lose. And he looked good in that fight. But he did lose. But you can't get mad at that. Farid is really, really fucking good. So, and Lapilus was pretty much taken down. He did stop a lot of takedowns, but he did still get taken down a good amount. So that was definitely the reason he lost. He did get taken down only 5 times, but still, I'm pretty sure Farid did keep him down a good amount. And again, he just he's lost. So what can you do? But yeah, Lapilus is still a really good fighter. Like he's 32 years old, but he's still a really good fighter. Like he crushed that long range kid who's a joke, and he fucking put up a very respectable fight against Farid. So he's pretty good. He's definitely a guy who I would say it's a shame he wasn't in the UFC for a good portion of for the last couple years. Because he would have thrived on top 15 ranked dude. He is good. He is that good. It's a shame he got cut after 2016. He would have been really fucking good. And instead of doing these fights that don't matter, being in UFC, probably would have gotten top 15. He'd done pretty good. But he's here now at 32, and we'll see if he's what he can do. 1-1. Let's see if he can make it 2-1. He should be able to, but you never know. Good to see Lapilus fighting consistently and in the UFC. So let's see if he can. Let's see if his revenge tour continues. The betting odds for this fight have Taylor Lapilus -210 to +175. Yeah, Lapilus should easily win this fight. He should be. You could put him. I like 210. The highest I would go is maybe like 230. He should win this fight. Stop takedowns and you win. It's not fucking difficult. Just stop. Like, this is just an easier Farid Basharat fight. Like, Stamann can't strike, and Stamann's takedowns ain't as good as Basharat's. So, if Lapilus can just keep it standing, he'll win. He has a giant reach advantage. He is the younger guy by 2 years. He's not been off for a year. He's been fighting consistently. He's been fighting the better competition. Farid Basharat's way better than fucking Eddie Wineland, Luan Larceda, and Douglas Silva de Andrade. And, like, he's just a better fighter. Like, striking wise, Lapilus all day. Ground game is, yeah, the wrestling is definitely Cody Stamann's wheelhouse, but he actually has to get it there. So yeah, Lapilus should win this fight, probably a 30-27. He's better. Simple as that. So give me Taylor Lapilus by decision. Stop takedowns and win. Pretty self-explanatory. Pretty much how anyone beats Cody Stamann. Just stop takedowns. So yeah, not very much else to say. Give me Taylor Lapilus by decision. Should be a pretty easy night for him. Just don't get taken down. Simple. After that, we go to our third fight of the night, and maybe my favorite fight of the night, as we head to strawweight for a very, very intriguing fight, and a very good fight at that. As we have a battle between two really good prospects, as we have Eduarda Moura versus Denise D. Gomes. Yes, I said this is my favorite fight on the card. Come at me. This card ain't very good to begin with, but I love this fight. I think this is a great fight. Two fighters I'm a fan of. Two really good prospects. The winner gets a big boost. I like it. I really enjoy it. I really like this matchmaking. I like it and I don't like it. And I like it because it's a really good fight. I dislike it because one of these two has to lose, and a loss for either one is not really good. Either she loses her O, or she takes another L in a row. So it's kind of a lose-lose, but just hopefully it's a good fight, and the winner will get a big boost up closer to the rankings. So, but enough about the fight in general. Let's dive deeper into it and talk about Eduarda Moura. Eduarda in the UFC is 1-0, coming off the Contender Series. In her UFC debut, she did beat Montserrat Sanjejo Ruiz, dominator, just as close to a flawless debut as you can get. The only flaw was it was missing weight. But if she can get her weight on track here, then she has nothing to worry about. She's really good. She's really good. Her ground game is pretty much just bullying you in a way. Her striking's very passable. She's a good fighter. I like Eduarda. I think she's a very intriguing prospect. She's 30? I did not know she was 30 years old. I thought she was like maybe 24 at most. Okay, I did not know she was fucking 30. So maybe this prospect does not have the most time in her fucking wheelhouse, but you know. But no, yeah, Eduarda is very good. I think she trains with like Jailton Almeida, a couple other people, so you know her ground game is good. Her striking is decent. I think all those KOs are TKOs, but still, I don't think her striking is to scoff at. In this fight, she's definitely not gonna want to be striking, but in general, her striking is pretty good. And she's very lengthy for 115 at a whopping 5'6". So she's not really a strawweight at all. You see why she missed weight, because she's not a strawweight. But Eduarda is good, and I think she's a very intriguing prospect. 10-0, really good ground game, really good striking, good cardio. It seems like. Getting her first real test in her second fight, getting a giant step up from Reyes to Denise Gomes is as big of a jump up as I've seen in a while from debut to second fight, and I'm very intrigued to see how she does here. This is definitely a fight she can win, and maybe even a one she should win, so let's see if she can get the win. And a win here against someone who is just fighting Angela Hill for a ranking, that's a big boost. So I like Eduarda. I think she's a very good prospect, and let's see if she can keep her O intact as she fights the very dangerous, very powerful Denise Gomes. Gomes in UFC is 2-2. Her 2 wins are the grappling. Her 2 wins are Bruna Brazil and Yasmin Hawagui, and her 2 losses are Luma Lukbumi and Angela Hill. Denise is good. Denise is really good. Her striking is very good. When she's on, she's really, and I say this a lot, and I know it's a corny way to put it, but when she's on fighting at her best, she's really fucking good. She could be a top 15 any day. But when she's not on and she's like fighting pretty bad, she looks way worse than she really is. Like, in her debut against Luma Lukbumi, which was on short notice, she looked pretty bad. But that's a short notice fight against Luma Lukbumi, who is someone who should be ranked already. And then against Angela Hill, what can you say? Angela Hill makes every prospect she fights look like shit. Because that's just, for some fucking reason, no one can actually look good against Angela Hill anymore. So, and Angela Hill's fighting at the best she has in fucking ever. So, you can't really get mad at that. But if you look in between those 2 fights, she has two knockouts, and they were 2 great performances. First of all, running through Bruna Brazil, and I think Bruna's debut, where she looked fucking amazing, just bullied Bruna into a fucking corner and dominated her. And then against fucking Yasmin Hawagui, which is actually very not foreshadowing, very what term do I want to use? Very kind of looking in the mirror. Like this fight and the Eduarda Moura fight, you're kind of looking in a mirror. They're kind of close to the same thing. Denise was a super counted out underdog here, fighting an undefeated, hyped up prospect, 10-0 no less, and she knocked her out in 20 seconds. So that's intriguing to think about. That's very intriguing to think about. Yeah, of course, Yasmin and Eduarda fight nothing alike. One's a striker, one's a grappler, one's not fucking 5'6". But it's interesting to see Gomes has already done this dance, already done the undefeated, hyped up prospect dance before, and she passed with flying colors. And I think beating Yasmin's even crazier than beating Eduarda, because Yasmin at that time looked like she was unstoppable. So, but we've seen Denise have these fights before where she's counted out, and she was the underdog against Bruna as well. That was Bruna's UFC debut, and she looked great. So, we've seen Denise look great when counted out before. Can she do it again here? Of course, these 2 fights were against strikers, which is, I think, the main thing that makes Eduarda different from these 2 is Eduarda's not going to strike with Denise like Bruna and like Yasmin. Actually, Bruna's pretty tall, so she has fought a lengthy fighter like Eduarda before, 5'6" exactly, so that's weird. She's fought a 10-0 fighter before, and a 5'6" strawweight before, and now they put those two things together. MMA's weird. But, it's gonna be interesting to see if Denise can rally against the hyped up prospect again here, because against the tall hyped up prospect again. If she can, then wow, that's a crazy good win. If not, I think her drowning point will be the grappling, the wrestling, whatever you want to call it, because again, those two people she beat did not have that. When she did the last time she fought a wrestler in Luma Lukbumi, she got beat up pretty badly because Luma just took her down and crushed her. So it's very interesting to see it's going to be interesting to see how much her grappling has got better in 2 years when she's fighting another grappler for the first time in a while. So let's see if Denise can pull off I don't want to say the impossible, but the upset again here. It's definitely possible. Can she do it? We'll see. Damn, I rambled forever about Denise Gomes. Fuck. The betting odds for this fight have Eduarda Moura -175 to +145. I think those odds have... I don't remember if those odds have dropped or went higher since this was first posted, but either way, I don't agree. This should be a pick'em. This is going to be a really good fight, and this is going to say a lot about mainly Eduarda. I think we know we're getting with Denise by now, but for Eduarda, we really are going to get a lot of questions answered here. We're going to see if she can handle adversity. We're going to see if she can take a punch. We're going to see if Denise does stop her takedown somehow. We're going to see if she can fucking strike with the more powerful, better striker. We're going to see a lot of things answered here with Eduarda, and I'm very intrigued on it. Like I said, this is my favorite fight on the card. I'm a fan of both these two, and I'm excited for this fight. So let's see who wins this battle of DWCS, what's the term? Fucking, alum. There you go. So, yeah. But finally, after 12 years of talking about this fight, who's gonna be my pick? I'm gonna say Anne's still undefeated. I'm gonna go Eduarda Moura. I think she will be able to get to the ground sooner than later and kind of bully Denise. Again, she is much taller, 5'6" to 6'2", or 5'6" to 5'2", 66-inch reach. So not a giant reach advantage, but still a reach advantage. And she is going to fucking try and get her down, which she might be able to. I'm intrigued though. I'm very intrigued. I think a lot of things happen in this fight, and I don't think an upset is impossible. I would not be shocked if we see another Yasmin Hagui situation here. I don't think it's gonna be a 20-second knockout, but Denise has bombs in her hand, man. One good punch and you're fucking taking a nap. So let's see what happens. I'm going Eduarda Moura by decision. Good chance she gets a TKO or a submission, but I'm going to go with decision. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I could see a split decision, but I think it's going to be a really good fight. Give me Eduarda Moura by decision. And still undefeated, maybe. After that, we head back to bantamweight for a interesting fight between two very good fighters. These two are is definitely a lot better than the Stamann Lapilus fight. I think these two. I think this is more. I think this is a more important fight and a lot bigger fight. But this is gonna be good. This is gonna be really good. As we head back to bantamweight for Daniel Sancora Marcos versus John Sexy Mexi Castañeda. Really good fight in the bantamweight division here, with a lot of stakes on the line to an extent. You know, I know these are two unranked fighters, but a win here for either guy is a really big win. So let's see who gets it. Let's talk about the undefeated Daniel Marcos first, because he is the red corner apparently. Marcos in the UFC is 2-0-1. His 2 wins are coming off Contender Series. His 2 wins are Simon Oliveira and Davy Grant, and his 1 no contest was in his last fight against Orichi Lang. Marcos is good. Marcos is a solid fighter. He's the one problem with him, and I think a lot of people have brought this up or will think this, like, yeah, he looked great against Simon Oliveira. Yeah, he was probably going to beat Orichi Lang. The Davy Grant fight, though, his first real test that most people think he lost. That's the problem. He looked pretty not great in that fight. He definitely did not look very good in that fight. And him looking so mid in that fight against a OG like David Grant, most people think he lost that fight. Not a great sign. And now, that was only a year ago, so how much has he really improved in a year? Like, he looked good against Orichi Lang, but that's Orichi Lang. He's not a great fighter. And now he's fighting John Castañeda, who I think is the hardest fighter of his career so far. So, Marcos is really going to need to show he has improved in about a year. Because if we see the Marcos who fought Grant fight here, he's going to lose. But if he's improved, which we've not seen him fight a lot this year, we saw him fight for about a round and a half against a very below average fighter, to be honest, we're gonna really see a lot of questions answered about Marcos. So let's see what he can answer. He's an undefeated dude. He's not super hyped up, but he is hyped up to an extent. But he is 31 years old. At bantamweight, trying to be a good prospect. Like, he does not have time to waste time. He really does not have the time to get built up as a young prospect. He needs to get right into the fire because he is 31 years old. And bantamweight is really fucking good. And, like, so I don't know how long that, like, even if he does win this fight, I don't know how long that is gonna last at bantamweight, because bantamweight's a murderer's row. Unranked and ranked. So he doesn't really need to improve tenfold to show he's a real contender in the bantamweight division. Can he do that? Yes. Will he do that? We have to wait and see, don't we? To talk about his opponent, John Castañeda. Castañeda in the UFC is 4-2. That's it? He's only had fucking 6 fights. I swear he fought more. His 4 wins are Eddie Wineland, Miles Johns, Moura Gafarov, and Kung Ho Kang. His 2 losses are Nathaniel Wood and Daniel Santos. Yeah, all his wins are, like, logical wins. Eddie Wineland, Gafarov, and Kung Ho Kang are not great fighters. And then his best win is Miles Johns, who's a very good fighter, and he subbed him in the 3rd round. So that's a really good win for Castañeda. He's beating guys he should be beating, which is always something you like to see. His 2 losses to Wood and Santos. Nathaniel Wood has a debut, I'm guessing on short notice, no less, is never going to be easy. Nathaniel Wood's a very good fighter, and that was kind of a tough break for him to get that as your debut. I'm guessing up a weight class, and he also, oh no, it was a bantamweight, but I'm guessing it was on short notice. And then Daniel Santos, a dude we've not seen fight a lot, but Daniel Santos is really good, and that's a very respectable L. You can't get mad at that. So, and now he's here fighting Daniel Marcos. So, where does Marcos fit into that category of either someone he should beat or someone he should lose to? I don't know. Marcos is a really hard guy to read, and we're gonna find out Saturday. But Castañeda is also really good. I know 4-2 record is not really the shiniest record in the world, especially fucking for a bantamweight and all that. 32 years old, 21-6 record. But it's not a bad record. I know his wins ain't fucking popping off the page. Kung Ho Kang, fucking Moura Gafarov. I know those ain't fucking top tier wins, and I agree. But they're wins, and those are all fights he's looked good in. He looked good against Kung Ho Kang in MSG. He looked good against Moura Gafarov. He looked great against Miles Johns. He looked great against Eddie Wineland. He's just been looking really good in his wins, and in his losses, again, he's losing to really good competition. So you can't really get mad at that shit. So Castañeda's very good. Castañeda's really good on the feet. He's really good on the ground. He's really well-rounded. And I think that's a big reason he is a problem for guys, is he is so well-rounded. If you're a striker, he can strike with you, or he could take you down. If you're a grappler, he can grapple with you, stop your takedowns, or he can strike with you. That's what he did against Kung Ho Kang, if I remember. He's a very good, well-rounded fighter. I know the nickname makes him sound like a joke, but he actually is really good. And I think this could be his coming out party to an extent. A win here, taking Marcos' O, could be a really, really giant win for him. So, we'll see if he can get that win. I think it's very possible, and it would be it would be the win he needs to finally put his name on the map for the people who might not know him yet. So, on a big card like this could be interesting. This could be really interesting for John Castañeda. The betting odds are a pick'em. I think Marcos has jumped to a favorite, but if he has, I think that's wrong. It should be a pick'em. You could flip a coin. I think this is a very good fight. We have Marcos, the straight up striker. He's going to strike with you. That's what he wants to do. Versus Castañeda, who can fight in both areas of the game, which I think is definitely an advantage. A giant one at that. And it's definitely going to be something that's going to probably play a factor in this fight one way or another. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two fight. Because if Castañeda just goes for a straight striking match, he might be stupid. But if he does go for takedowns and all of that, he could really fuck up Marcos. Marcos' gas tank don't look too good. He kind of did gas against Davy Grant, so we'll see what happens here. I'm very intrigued. I think this is a very good, big fight in the bantamweight division. Who am I going to pick? I don't know why. I just got a weird feeling. Give me Sexy Mexi. I think he's going to take that O. After seeing that Davy Grant fight, I think Castañeda is better than Davy Grant. Give me John Castañeda. I think he's gonna be able to take Daniel Marcos's O and get the win here. So I think he's gonna be able to mix up his striking and grappling very well. I think he's gonna tire out Marcos and get the win. So give me John Castañeda by decision. This could age either really good or really bad. I'm talking like Marcos is a giant favorite, but it always feels weird predicting a fighter to lose their O. It always feels like a long shot. So, but give me John Castañeda by decision. I think he can take that O, get a big W. So that's what I'm gonna predict is gonna happen. Castañeda by decision. 4 more prelims, and we're already 37 minutes in. Fuck. I won't waste a lot of time on a few fights, but let's get into the next one. Our 5th fight of the night in the women's flyweight division. A rematch. I don't know why I don't have the 2 up there, but we do have a rematch here between 2 veterans. I could give a fuck about this fight. I don't know why this is happening, but whatever. We had a rematch here in the flyweight division between Andrea KGB Lee versus Montana de la Rosa. Like I said, this is a rematch from they only fought a couple years ago. This ain't like a fight that happened a long time ago, but this is a rematch. And let's see who wins the rematch. I swear we've been getting so many rematches lately. Just last week we had Nico and fucking Alex Morono. Now we got Andrea Lee and Montana de la Rosa. Can we have more pointless rematches? Whatever. Let's talk about Andrea Lee first. Andrea in the UFC is 5-7. What the fuck? Her 5 wins are, let me see. Veronica Hardy, Ashley Evans-Smith, Montana de la Rosa, Antonina Shevchenko, and Cynthia Calvillo. Her losses are Joanne Wood, Lauren Murphy, Mana Ferry, Ara Ujo. Well, really, she's 6-6 because she beat Barber, Natalia Silva, and Miranda Maverick. Andrea Lee's not a bad fighter. I know the 5-7 really should be 6-6 record. Definitely says otherwise, but she's not a bad fighter. She's just either she underperforms or she fights someone that's better. Like losing to Natalia Silva, that she's just better. Fucking she underperformed in fights. She is a good fighter. She just really does not show up at times. But like when she's on fighting at her really best, she looks really good. So, but she is 35 years old, which is a big red flag. So, yeah. Andrea's good. I don't know how she's still in the UFC, but I guess the UFC really likes her, and they're giving her one last chance to get a W, because she should easily win here, so, again. So, it's good to see, like, it would be lame to see Andrea Lee get cut to an extent, because she is a good fighter and all that, but when it's your time, it's your time. But I guess it's not her time yet. Let's see if she can turn back the clock and get another win. To talk about her opponent, Montana de la Rosa. Montana in the UFC is 5-5-1. Her 5 wins are Christiana Marks, Rachel Ostovich, Nadi Kassam, Mara Borrelia, and Ariane Lipsky. Her losses are Andrea Lee, Ujo, Macy Barber, Tatiana Suarez, and JJ Aldridge. She's not a good fighter. I never thought she was a good fighter, and like I picked JJ as an underdog against her. I really don't know why Montana was the favorite there. She's not good. She had a draw with Mayra Bueno Silva. That was her draw on her record. She's not a good fighter. She's just a wrestler, and she's not even good at that. And now she is 29 years old. I know that's not old, but still, 12-9 record, which is dog shit. And she's just not a good fighter. Like, I get her last few fights have not been easy fights. Barber, Suarez, and Aldridge, that's not an easy fucking row of fighters, but she's looked terrible in all those fights. She looked awful against Macy Barber, she looked terrible against Tatiana Suarez, and she looked pretty bad against JJ Aldridge. So, I've never been impressed with her, and I just don't think she's very good. So, she has a chance to rewrite the wrong of her first UFC loss. Will she do that? No. But, never know. She's getting one more... Like, of course this is a loser gets cut fight. But, like, the UFC is really giving one of these two a chance to get a win that they really don't deserve, because they can't beat fucking good fighters, so why not fight each other? So... yeah, I don't know. De La Rosa sucks, and they'll probably be our last UFC fight. And now to talk about the first fight, because I really did not do that too much. The first fight did happen in 2019, which is not even that long ago. And yeah, Andrea Lee beat the shit out of her. It was just total domination. She like Andrea Lee barely got punched, and she had Montana De La Rosa bleeding buckets. So yeah, Andrea Lee's just a better fighter. So, simple as that. We saw that in the first fight. We're going to see it fucking, 5-6 years later? So, yeah, not a hard fight to predict. The betting odds first fight have Andrea Lee minus 125 to plus 105. She should be a bigger favorite. What was she in the first fight? 185? Make her minus 185 again. It's going to be the same fight. She's just going to beat the shit out of Montana again. Yes, they have both regressed as fighters since that first fight, but even as a regressed fighter, who's better? Andrea Lee. Like, she's better in 2019, she's gonna be better in 2024. It's not really much to say. Give me Andrea Lee by decision again. Should be a pretty easy night in the office. She is the better fighter. I really don't think it's that complicated. So, I'm not gonna make it complicated. Andrea Lee by decision. Again, 2-0, just like Nico Price. And I don't think Montana is going to get revenge like Joanne Wood did against Morozov. I think there's going to be a 2-0 win for Andrea Lee by decision. After that, for our 6-5 tonight, we head to bantamweight again, somehow, for a pretty quick fight to break down. Really don't got much to say here. It's can versus can, but one can is levels above the other. As we head to bantamweight for the third time for Brad Superman Katona versus Jesse Butler. Do I really gotta waste time on this fight? Like, no. I'll talk about both guys very quickly. Because just A, this fight is a joke, and B, it's super easy to predict. Katona in the UFC is 3-3 since coming back from getting cut the first time, and since getting cut the first time, he did win tough again, beating Cody Gibson in the finale. And then in his last fight, he lost to Garrett Armstrong. That was probably a robbery, to be honest, but whatever. That's not here nor there. And now he's fighting Butler. Yeah, he's not a good fighter. He's become more of a striker in his second UFC run. He was a wrestler before. and like that was a big reason he got cut. I believe is he was a wrestler, and we're boring at that. But now he is trying to be a striker, which is not working out for him because that's not his bag. His bag is taking you down and controlling you. That's what he did to win tough again. That's what he did to win tough the first time. That's what he did to win fights in the UFC. So that's what he does. He takes you down and he fucking controls you. And that's what he has to go back to. Like, he needs to go back to his bread and butter, and that's takedowns, controlling, and winning. Trying to become this fucking striker, and not even a good one at that, is stupid. Like, that is really fucking stupid. You're not Conor. We know you're only in the UFC because of Conor. You can't strike like Conor. Just go to your bread and butter, and that's wrestling. If he does that, even if he did strike in this fight, he would win. But why go the hard route? Just take him down and win. It's not too difficult. It's what you're good at, and you're not good at really anything else. You're not even good at that. You can just do that, so do it. Did you talk about his opponent, Jesse Butler? Jesse is another fighter who's only in the UFC because he stepped in on short notice. He stepped in on short notice last year to fight Jim Miller, and he got knocked out in 23 seconds. Which is the crazy part is that was at lightweight. This fight's at bantamweight. So he's cutting down 2 weight classes, and he's never fought at bantamweight. I thought bantamweight was a natural weight class. What the fuck is it? Go to featherweight. Oh wait, is that featherweight? No, it's at bantamweight. Yeah, so this dude's cutting down 3 weight classes at 5'9", 5'10", after just fighting at lightweight. Dude, this guy's fucking insane. You're cutting 30 fucking pounds? Almost? Like, what the fuck? Go to featherweight. That's your fucking weight class, bare minimum. Like, he took 2 fights at featherweight. They got cancelled, but still. Now he's trying to fight a fucking bantamweight. That's just, he's gonna be so drained. If this fight gets cancelled, don't be shocked. Dude, I'm scared for Butler. This dude's gonna look fucking terrible on the scales. Dude, he's cutting 30. His debut was at lightweight. He's fighting at fucking. Not 30 pounds, 20 pounds. I don't know why I thought there was another weight class between bantamweight and lightweight. But still, that's fucking insane. Like, for a dude at 5'10" to go from lightweight to bantamweight, you gotta stop in the middle at first. Like, it's like fucking Frankie Edgar didn't go from fucking lightweight to bantamweight. He went to featherweight first. Fuck, come on, dude. You're fucking whatever. His choice. Just gonna go worse for him. Whatever. Cutting 20 pounds at 5'10" to make bantamweight can only go great. This dude's gonna be drained like a motherfucker on the scales. Again, if this fight gets cancelled, don't be shocked. I won't be. The betting odds for this fight have Brad Katona minus 500. I think he's up to minus 600 by now, to plus 380. Yeah, Katona's one of the 3 guys I would call. He was one of the 3 guys I considered calling my lock of the card. The only reason I didn't, because A, fuck Brad Katona, he sucks, and B, yeah, what's the fun in that? So, but yeah, Katona's gonna win this easily. Just take him down. It's not fucking rocket science. Take him down and win. This might be Katona's first finish in the UFC, to be honest. If he got a finish here, don't be shocked. Like, I get 5'6", 5'10", giant fucking disadvantage and everything. But I could see him taking him down and getting a ground and pound finish or something along those lines. So, we'll see if he can do it. Give me Brad Katona by decision. I'm not going to pick Brad Katona to get a finish because this motherfucker doesn't get finishes. Ever. 4 in his whole career. Yeah. Give me Brad Katona by decision. Probably a 30-26. So, yeah. Not very much else to say. Probably going to be boring, but it's going to be an easy pick. So, Brad Katona by decision. After that, we head to welterweight. Shockingly, it's not bantamweight. For a interesting fight, it could be really good. Between 2 prospects, as we have Charles Chuck Buffalo Radtke versus Carlos the Nightmare Prates. Very intriguing fight here in the welterweight division between 2 good prospects. Let's see who gets the win. And let's start with Charles Radtke. I can't believe I'm calling Charles Radtke a good prospect. But he's earned it. He's earned it. And a win here, oh my god, you'd earn it even more. But yeah, and Charles in the UFC is 2-0. And his UFC debut, he beat Blood Diamond, and then in his last fight, he knocked out Gilbert Urbina. He's a good striker. He's a really good striker. His ground game ain't great. His ground game is what what got him the win against Blood Diamond, but Blood Diamond can't stop a fucking cough. So I'm not shocked. Blood Diamond can get taken down by anyone. Dude just got KO'd on the regional scene. Shocker. But yeah, Radtke is not going to be in here shooting takedowns because he's not good at it. He's a striker, and he's shown it. And in the Urbina fight, he dropped that man out cold. So, and he has good power in his hands, it seems like. I get Gilbert Urbina is not the best fighter to put an example on, but still, he knocked him out cold. And then I remember him not doing terrible against Blood Diamond. Like he didn't, like, on his feet at least. Like he didn't. I don't know if he was the better striker, but he definitely did not look incapable of striking with him, like some of Blood Diamond's opponents. So, yeah, Radtke's a fine fighter. He's really, like, do I think he's kind of been given 2 cans? Yes. But, hell, he's getting to fight Carlos Prates. On paper, this fight looks like a joke. But, man, dude's on a 6-fight winning streak. You never know what could happen, man. Radtke shut me up against Urbina. Urbina was my lock of the night on that card, and he got knocked the fuck out. So, let's see if Radtke can get another upset here. Very possible. And not probable. But it's possible. The reason it's not probable is because he's fighting Carlos Prates, who is very tall and very good. Prates in the UFC is 1-0, coming out with Contender Series. In his UFC debut, he knocked out Trevin Giles. Yeah, he looked terrible in that fight. He was losing that fight until the knockout, which is crazy. Yeah, oh my god, he beat Charles Oliveira. No, I thought I made this joke in his debut, but no, that's not Charles Oliveira. That Charles Oliveira. So, but no, Prates is good. He's a very tall, lengthy guy for the bandweight, for the welterweight division at fucking 6'1". Especially in this fight, he's so much bigger than Radtke, fucking 6'1" to 5'9". That's pretty fucking crazy. He has good power in his hands. He's really good at fighting at range, which I know. I brought that up last week with 2 fighters, and one of them did not know what that meant. Phil Rowe. But, yeah, Prates is good. Prates, when he's on, I don't know what happened in Giles' fight, why he fought so bad. The debut jitters, was he just not fucking mentally prepared? Was Giles fighting just really good? No. So, and this is a step up from Trevin Giles, so logically, hopefully he looks better, not worse. But, yeah, Prates is good. He's a very good prospect, only 30 years old. 18-6, so he's not inexperienced, and he's good. Fucking 13 KOs is pretty fucking insane. He's really good on the feet, good power in his hands, as I said, good kicks. Let's see what he can do, man. I'm very intrigued. I think he's a very intriguing prospect, and this is a very winnable fight. This definitely, the UFC is definitely booking this as a showcase fight for Prates. They really would like him to win. So let's see if he can do it. He should be able to win this fight. I think he's good at Muay Thai, by the way. I think he's good at Muay Thai. Crazy idea. The betting odds for this fight, I have Carlos Prates minus 200 to plus 165. Yeah, I really like those odds. I would have him 200 on the dot like they do. I think that's perfect. He should win this fight. He should be able to fight at range. His reach advantage ain't crazy, but his height advantage is. I could see him landing a knee. He's going to use his kicks really well. Maybe even get a head kick knockout. You never know. But, yeah, Prates should win this fight. I really don't, could Radtke get on the inside and fuck him up? Yes. Could, the best comparison for this fight is kind of Phil Rowe and Jake Matthews. Maybe that's a bit, Phil Rowe doesn't fight like Prates, but he could. And Matthews won that fight because he was able to get on the inside so easily. I don't know if it's going to be easy to get on the inside with Prates, but I don't know, Radtke could do it. I don't think he will. I think when he rushes inside, he will probably either get clipped, or Prates will be able to scoot away, but you never know. Yeah, I don't think Radtke is the worst underdog pick in the world. I just don't think he's a great one. he will probably lose. But again, you never know. He could get on the inside and land a bomb. These two both have a lot of power in their hands, so a knockout is most likely going to happen. It's just who's getting knocked out. Who do I think is going to win this fight and get the knockout? I'm going Carlos Prates. I think he should win. I think he will win. Give me Prates by knockout in the second. I think he's going to tire out Radtke in the first round with some good kicks, maybe even hurt him. And then he's going to go up. I think in round 1 he'll be like trying to mix up his attacks to like try and get the guard down, maybe some leg kicks, body kicks, etc. And in round 2 he'll land that kill shot. And that's what I think he's going to do. So give me Carlos Prates by knockout in the second. Let's see what happens. Someone's probably getting knocked out. Don't worry, there will be more of those. So there will be plenty more of those. So yeah, not very much else to say. That's it. And then now let's get to our featured our featured prelim. A really good fight in the lightweight division. This should be on the main card, to be honest. This is one of the best fights on the card, as we have Thiago Moisés versus Ľudovít Mr. Highlight Klein. Well, this is going to be an interesting fight. A really good fight. Again, this should be on the main card. This is a main card level fight. So, let's see what happens. Let's start with Thiago Moisés. Thiago in UFC is 7-5, coming out to Contender Series. His wins in the UFC are Kurt Halaba, Michael Johnson, Bobby Green, Alexander Hernandez, Christoph Giagos, Melk Costa, and Mitch Ramirez. And his losses are Benil Dariush, Damiris Magulov, Islam Makhachev, Joel Alvarez, and Benoit Saint Denis. All his wins are guys he should. Well, he didn't beat Bobby Green. That was a robbery. But besides the Bobby Green robbery, like, he's beating guys he should be beating. And then he doesn't have terrible wins. Michael Johnson, fucking Melk Costa, who's still pretty good. Those are nice wins, but a lot of pretty weak wins, like Kurt Halaba, Mitch Ramirez, fucking Christoph Giagos, not very strong wins. And then, especially when you look at his losses, every time he does fight tough competition, he does lose. Dariush, I think he sucks, but whatever. Damiris Magulov, he was good at one point. Islam is Islam. Joel Alvarez is very good. But Benoit Saint Denis, we all know, is still good. So every time he fights someone who's actually kind of good, he does kind of fall under the pressure. He did go 4 rounds of Islam. But Joel Alvarez and Benoit Saint Denis running through him in 2 rounds or less is interesting. And then, again, in his last few fights, he's not really been fighting tough competition. Christoph Giagos sucks. Melk Costa's a featherweight. And Mitch Ramirez sucks. So, this is definitely his first tough fight in a minute since Benoit last year. So, we'll see how he does here. Ľudovít is going to be a really tough fight for him. He's going to want to get to the ground. I don't think he can really strike with Ľudovít. I know he did get a TKO in his last fight, but those were leg kicks against him. Mitch Ramirez, he's going to want to become a grappler. Well, not become a grappler. He's going to want to use his grappling in this fight, because in some fights he can use his striking. His striking ain't good, but he can use it. In this fight, he wants to be a grappler, and I think that's what he's going to try and do. Will it work? We'll have to wait and see. To talk about his opponent, Ľudovít Klein. Ľudovít in the UFC is 5-2-1. His wins are Shane Young, Devontae Smith, Mason Jones, Ignacio Bahamondes, and AJ Cunningham. His 2 losses are Michael Trevano and Nate Landwehr. He really does not have it. Oh, and he had a draw with Jai Herbert. His wins are fucking weird. Shane Young's trash. Devontae Smith sucks. Mason Jones sucks. Ignacio Bahamondes is great, just underperforms. And AJ Cunningham is a joke. There's one win in there that's actually good. And then he lost to Trezano and Nate Landwehr. But that was his featherweight one. His featherweight one. Good English, dickhead. Since moving up to lightweight, he is 3-0-1. Oh, is that lightweight? No, he's 4-0-1. So, since moving up, he's been doing really good. And he's been looking good. He beat Mason Jones and Devontae Smith. He looked great against Ignacio and Cunningham. He's good. Like, I've really turned a page on Ľudovít Klein. He's definitely a guy who I was not high on for a minute, but I'm trying to turn on Ľudovít. I think he is starting to become a pretty good fighter, and he's not old. He's still very young. So 29 years old. He could really make a splash here. And with lightweight being the land of the killers, it's not going to be easy, but he can definitely make a splash. He is very good, and we'll see what he can do in this fight. This is his first big test in a while since the Nate Landwehr fight. Because Bahamondes on paper should have been a test. If not, he even should have lost. But this is the toughest fight of his career. There we go. That's the perfect way to put it. This is the toughest fight of his career. And let's see how he can do. He's looked good before. Ignacio Bahamondes, he beat Devontae Smith, etc. This is the toughest fight of his career and the biggest fight of his career. Let's see if he can do it. He's definitely the striker in this fight. That's where he wants the fight to be. So we'll see if he can keep it striking and win. That's definitely going to be his goal. Let's see if he can do it. The Bang Out Search fight have Ľudovít Klein minus 135 to plus 115. I agree to an extent, but I might have it a pick'em. I think this is a very close fight between two pretty good fighters. Ľudovík's a little 2 inches shorter, bigger reach advantage though. They're the same age. This is a very even fight. Like I said, it's gonna be Thiago's ground game versus Ľudovík's striking. And in these scenarios, you ask yourself which is better if they swap, Thiago's striking or Ľudovík's ground game. I might lean Ľudovík's ground game is better, but Ľudovík's ground game compared to Thiago's striking. If they're both pretty, they're not incapable of doing the other thing. Thiago Moisés can strike, he's not good at it, and Ľudovít Klein can go to the ground, he's not good at it. He did take down Ignacio Bahamondes from what I remember. So these guys are not incapable of doing these things. It's just that's not their bag. Their bag is what they do, and that's grappling for one and striking for the other. So we know what we're getting with this fight. We just don't know who's gonna implement their game plan better and win. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight. Who am I going with in this fight? Give me Ľudovít Klein. I think he'll be able to keep it on the feet and win. We've seen Thiago do pretty bad against strikers in the past, like Joe Alvarez and Benoit Saint Denis, and I think he's going to crumple again. So give me Ľudovít Klein. I think he can stop the takedowns and win here. And we'll see. This could end really badly for all the Klein backers, but you never know. You never know. Gonna be a really good fight. I'm very excited for this fight. And let's see what happens. Give me Ľudovít Klein by decision. I think it's going to be a very intriguing fight, to say the least. So, an hour in. Those are the prelims. I love MMA. Can you tell? Yeah, those are the prelims. Not bad prelims. One of the worst fights are Katona and Andrea Lee. And the Tomar fight probably won't be great. That's like... These two fights are really good. These two fights are really good. And this is here. So, pretty good prelims. Never know what could happen. And now we go on to the main card. 6 more fights an hour. And will we break the record for the longest video? We'll see. I think it's like an hour and 29 minutes or some bullshit. We'll see if I can break that. But first we have 6 more fights to break down. So enough of me talking. Let's just get these breakdowns over with. And let's start in the welterweight division. Was a fight, a can versus can battle between Punahele, Soriano versus Miguel, Carmel Thunder, Baeza. Skill-wise, not a great fight to be in the main card, but they should be a fun fight. These two are not very good, but they will fight, so we'll see what happens here. So, enough rambling. Let's talk about the first fight on the main card, Punahele, Soriano. Puna in the UFC is 3-4. His 3 wins are Oscar P. Pichoka, I have no idea how to say that, Dusko Todorovic, and Dolce Lungambula. His 4 losses are Brennan Allen, Nick Maximov, Roman Kopylov, and Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, Puna's not a good fighter. He actually completely sucks. He is a knockout in the first round where he's done fighter. Like, he can't go into the second round. He fucking can't win. I know he beat Dolce in the second round, but that's Dolce Lungambula, who somehow sucks more than Puna does. Yeah, Puna's a one-round fighter, if that. He has no other abilities outside of striking. He has really good power in his hands. That's it. And now definitely the thing that's kind of a problem. I don't know how much I love this idea. This is his first fight at welterweight. He is moving down from middleweight to welterweight in this fight. Is that a good idea? For a guy who already has a shit gas tank, for a dude who knows how he's gonna look at welterweight. I don't love the idea. For a dude who badly needs a win, it screams desperate. It just screams I'm desperate. And he is very desperate. An L here and he's gone. He should already, I say you lost to Dustin Stoltzfus, you should be gone. But he does badly need a win here. So we'll see if he can get it. Again, I don't know if I love the idea of moving down to welterweight for a guy like Puna. His gas tank already sucks. Now he's making probably not a great weight cut. I get he's not a big dude, but still cutting 15 pounds for the first time I doubt he's ever fought at welterweight. I don't know if it's a great idea. I really don't know if it's a great idea. We'll see. He fought a fucking heavyweight? What the fuck? What did he weigh in at? Motherfucker fought at heavyweight. Huh? Whatever. Yeah, I don't know if it's a great idea for Puna. 31 years old, needing a win. Good luck. You're needed. To talk about his opponent, Miguel Baeza. Baeza in the UFC is 3-3. We've not seen him. Another guy we've not seen in a long time, finally returning. His 3 wins in the UFC are Hector Almeida, Matt Brown, and Takashi Sato. His 3 losses are Santiago Ponzinibbio, Chaos Williams, and Andre Filho. Yeah, adding Miguel Baeza to the list of people finally returning in 2024. I forget, we had Ariane Cornelosi, we had someone else on the exact same fucking card, and now we have Miguel Baeza, who's been off for over 2 years now. Last fight in April of 2022, when he got knocked out by Andre Filho, and now he's back. Baeza was a good fighter, and then he had that war with Santiago Ponzinibbio. This fight changed him. He took a lot of damage in this fight, and it was a brutal fight. It was a great fight, one of the fights of the year in 2021. But this fight changed him. He had a banger, he had a fight of the year contender, but he took a lot of damage. You can tell it weakened him as a fighter. He got KO'd 2 times after that. He was not the same. A 2-year layoff after a fight like that is kind of smart. I think he needed that. After a fight like that and 2 KO losses, I think a break was genius. So, I get he did try and come back. I know it probably wasn't his choice to take a long break, but shit happens, and he had to. So, I think a 2-year break was the best thing for him. Now we get to see him rejuvenated, rehydrated, only at 31 years old. After a 2-year break, we'll see if he still has something left in the tank. This is a very easy fight. He should win this fight. Like Ponzinibbio and Chaos were hard fights to give the dude. Filho, that has aged terrible, but I'll give him a break. He needs this win. He needs to win this fight, and a loss here and he's gone. But I think this is kind of the UFC giving him a gimme fight. I think the UFC likes Baeza. I think they're giving him one more opportunity, giving him a middleweight moving down, giving him a middleweight who's moving down to welterweight on a 3-fight losing streak, or 2-fight losing streak, but 1-4 in their last 5. I think this is a gimme fight for Baeza, and he should win this fight. He needs to win this fight because the loser of this fight is gone. So we'll see what Baeza still has left in the tank. He gave us all he could in the Ponzinibbio banger. Let's see what he has left. I'm intrigued. Let's see what he can do. The betting odds for his fight of Miguel Baeza -170 to +140. Yeah, You could put Baeza to 180. I don't think any higher than 180, and I don't even know how much I love 180. But yeah, he should win this fight. He's a better fighter. He's a better striker. He has better cardio. He's bigger. 6'2", 5. Yeah, he's way bigger. He's a better fighter. Like, his power is probably worse, and neither of these guys are going to go to the ground. And if they did, I think Baeza's better there also. This should be a gimme fight for Baeza. I think he's a better fighter, and I think he's going to show that by beating and sending Punahele Soriano out of the UFC. So, my pick is going to be fuck, I can't speak, man. I'm talking for an hour straight. My pick here is going to be Miguel Baeza. I think he's just a better fighter, and I think he's going to show that. So give me Miguel Baeza by knockout in the second. I think he's going to let Puna gas himself out early, and then finish him in the second. Maybe even in the first, late in the first, because we know Puna's probably going to gas himself out just in the first couple minutes, throwing power shots. But you never know. Puna could land that kill shot that Chaos did and Filho did. But who knows? I think Baez is going to be ready for that, going to be watching that. I think he's going to be ready. So, give Miguel Baeza by knockout in the second. I think he should win this fight. I think he's going to win this fight. And I think he's just a better fighter. Give Miguel Baeza to make his return by knockout in the second. Maybe I'll change it to the first. Depending on how Puna looks on the scales tomorrow, I might change it to a first round. We'll see. But right now I'm leaning second round. So yeah. After that, we head to middleweight for a Can versus Can battle of the ages. It's going to end in a finish at least, but God, these two are terrible. As we have at middleweight, Julian, the Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez versus Zach, the Savage Reese. Wow, these two are fucking trash. But at least it's going to be a fun fight, and that's all that matters. Let's talk about Julian Marquez. Speaking of people finally back after a while, Julian Marquez. Julian in the UFC is 3-3. He's only had 3 fights, and he won them all by submission? The fuck? Yeah, he's 3-3 in the UFC. His wins are Darren Stewart, Maki Patolo, and Sam Alvey. His 3 losses are Alicio De Chirico, Gregory Rodriguez, and Marc-Andre Berriut. Yeah, he's literally just a fucking, I'm going to run forward and try and kill you. If it fails, you win. That's what happened against Gregory Rodriguez. That's especially what happened against Marc-Andre Berriut. And then Chirico, I might have never seen that fight, and I'm not upset about that. And then Marquez is an interesting fighter. He went on a nice run in 2021, but he did beat 2 joke fighters in Patolo and Sam Alvey. But and that Patolo fight was just weird. The only time he actually looked good past round 1. So that fight reminds me of Kutilaba versus Devin Clark. How for one fight only, this dude actually had a gas tank. So, but yeah, Marquez. This is his first fight in a minute since beginning of last year, so he's been off for about over a year. This ain't the first time he took a long break. Like from 2018 to 2021, he was off for a while. Then 2021 to 2020. So he fights 2 times and takes a break. It's fucking a terrible strategy and B, weird. But he is back now at the age of 34. He's now 34 years old. I have no idea where he's training because he was a Glory MMA guy, but that shit got shut down because Mr. I like to bet on fights, James Krause. And now I have no idea where Julian Marquez is training, so maybe he went somewhere to get better. I don't know where, but who knows. And yeah, we know we're getting with Marquez. He's either gonna knock you out or he's gonna gas. Well, apparently he's either gonna submit you or get finished. So yeah, Marquez is not a good fighter. He's just a better Puna if you think about it. He's just gonna try and knock you out or lose. So yeah. And you'll see the dude's fucking ginormous, so we see why he has no gas tank. To talk about his opponent, Zach Reese. Zach in the UFC is 0-1, coming off Contender Series. In his UFC debut against Cody Brendan, she got dropped on his head and knocked out. That was right after the Joe Selecki-Drakkar close fight, so that is still one of the craziest moments in card history. But yeah, he was going for a arm triangle or an arm bar, and he got dropped on his fucking head and got KO'd. Good job. Zach Reese is terrible, but he's young. He's young, 6-1, 20. Oh, he's 30. Yeah, he'll learn. Like, Brundage just outsmarted him. He fought Kevin Holland in his debut. Goddamn. Brundage just, I don't even know if outsmarted him is the right term. He just did common sense. Reese, Zach tried to submit him and it almost worked, but he put himself in a fucking slam position. He got slammed on his fucking head, so not really much to expect. But yeah, Reese is not very good. He's kind of like Marquez, where it's kind of knockout or bust. All his fights end in round 1, so where we actually get to see him fight into round 2, we'll see. But yeah, he's not a great fighter, but we'll never know what can happen. Maybe, when was that fight? It wasn't that long ago. Until he's been about solid 6-7 months, he's been off. But we'll see if he's gotten better. Yeah, we'll see what happens. The betting odds for this fight are pretty much a pick'em, 115, 105. Yeah, it should be a pick'em. Whoever gets knocked out gets knocked out. This is definitely a fight you don't bet on, because they both suck. And yeah, this is just a fight we watch as fans and wait for the finish, because it's not going to go 15 minutes. If it does, Jesus, I hate the UFC if this goes 15 minutes. There's no way this fight could go 15 minutes, right? That should be illegal. Like, this fight has to end in a finish, right? Please, we need it. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah, this fight's gonna end in a finish. Either Marquez is gonna get to, if you ask me who I think needs the first round finish more, it'd probably be Marquez. He's bigger, he's older, he's been off for a while, he's not very good anyway. He has a worse gas tank. I think we've not seen Reese in round 2, so we really can't judge his gas tank. What's the longest fight of his career? I wonder. 4.5, about 4:13. Okay. So we've not really seen him fight into deep water, so we will probably get to see that in this fight. Good possibility. And if we do, I think it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. Someone's gonna get finished. Who do I think is gonna win this fight? These fights are kind of fucking annoying because you're kind of just waiting on the edge of your seat, and either your pick gets knocked out or you get the knockout. So there's really not much. This is more luck than like actually good predicting, I feel. So I maybe that's a casual thing to say, but I think this is more of a luck prediction to get right. I think they fight 10 times, 5 times might be Marquez, 5 times might be Reese. So. Who am I going with? I'm just stalling. Give me Zach Reese. I'm leaning Reese. I think he's younger by a couple years. He's not taking that much damage. His gas tank could be better. He's the taller dude. He's not fucking jacked, so he's not going to gas in 10 seconds. Give me Zach Reese, and I'm going to say by knockout in the second. I think we're going to see Zach go into round 2. I think we're going to see what he can do. So give me Reese by knockout in the second. I think he will be able to survive early round Marquez in round 1, and then round 2, one guy's gonna be breathing heavy as shit, the other will hopefully not be, and I think Reese will begin that knockout. So give me Zach Reese by knockout in the second. Not confident. I think it's pure luck. We'll see what happens. Reese by knockout in the second. After that, we head to our third fight of the main card, staying in the middleweight division, as we have a very easy fight to predict. I'm not going to waste your time on this too much, because I'm already 118 in, as we have Bruno the Hulk Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Not a hard fight to predict. I think it's very, the writing is on the wall. I don't even know if that's the term I want to use for this fight, but I guess it works. Let's talk about Bruno Ferreira real quick. Bruno in the UFC is 2-1 coming off the Contender Series, and his 2 UFC wins are Gregory Rodriguez and Phil Hawes. His only loss is to Sultan Ruziboyev. We know we're getting with Bruno Ferreira. He's a little fucking tank. He's going to run forward and try and knock your fucking head off. Kind of like Marquez, kind of like Punahele Soriano. He's going to run forward and try and fucking KO you. And sometimes it works. Against Phil Hawes, it did. Rodriguez, he didn't even do that. He just landed a perfect punch. And so it can work. Like, if he touches you, you're going down. So, and then against the Sultan, he fought a dude who's fucking ginormous, and he got his fucking leg caught and dropped on his head. It happens. What can you do? But yeah, Bruno's good. I think Bruno is improving on a fight-to-fight basis. He's only 31 years old. We've not seen him go into round 2 like once in his career, but not in the UFC yet. We've not really seen his ground game from what I remember, but I don't think it's terrible. So a gas tank and ground game are definitely the 2 question marks with Bruno, but I don't think we're really gonna have to have either of those. The ground game we'll probably have to see question, but he'll probably just stuff the takedowns. So we know what Bruno's gonna try and do, and he'll probably succeed. But yeah, we know we're getting with Bruno, a dude who's going to try and knock your teeth. Now we'll see if he can do it for the 3rd time in his UFC career. To talk about his opponent, Dustin Stoltzfus. I love MMA as well. Dustin in the UFC is 2-4. His 2 wins are Dwight Grant and Punahele Soriano, and his 4 losses are Kyle Dawkins, Rodolfo Vieira, GM3, and Abus Magomedov. He's a terrible fighter. He can't strike. He can really only grapple. That's the only thing he's good at. Yeah, he's terrible. I really don't know why he's still in the UFC. I think he's a terrible fighter. So, and he got the fucking contract on DWCS for breaking Joe Pyfer's arm by accident. So, yeah, Stoltzfus sucks, and that's about all I can say about this. He's terrible, and he's old. He's like 32. I swear he's older. But either way, he's trash. So we know what he's gonna try and do. He's gonna try and take you down and win, and it's gonna fail, like always. Unless he's fighting a can like Puna or Dwight Grant. So yeah. The betting on first fight have Bruno Ferreira minus 275 to plus 215. I'd have Bruno up to minus 400. He's gonna win this fight. Just stuff the takedowns. Yeah, you're shorter by a couple inches. Yeah, your reach is shorter, but just stuff takedowns and win. It's not fucking rocket science. So, yeah, not very much to say. Give me Bruno Ferreira. In fact, my lock of the night, Bruno Ferreira by knockout in the first, is Dustin Stoltzfus. A boost knocked him out in 14 seconds. Bruno Ferreira, who's 10 times better than a boost, should knock him out pretty easily. So, give me Bruno Ferreira by knockout in the first, lock of the night. The only way he loses is if he gets taken down and gassed, but I don't think either of these things will happen, so I'm not too worried. Bruno Ferreira by knockout in the first, lock of the night. After that, we head to our 12th fight of the night in the bantamweight division, our 4th fight of the main card, a fight I already broke down in the past, so I'm not going to really break it down again, as we have Raul El Nino Problema Rosas Jr. versus Pretty Ricky Torcios. Not going to say much on this fight because I broke this down when it was first scheduled for UFC Mexico Morono versus Royval 2. If you want to hear me in depth break this fight down, you can go watch that. Maybe I'll put it in the time card in the top right. We'll see if I get lazy or if I forget. But, yeah, this fight was already meant to happen in Mexico, on the Morono Royval card. Raul Rosas got sick in the back right before it happened, so that fight got cancelled, and now we get to see it here in, Louisville. Yeah, I'm gonna cut to the chase. I think Rosas is gonna win this fight. I think at this point he might be the better striker. Ricky has really fallen off a cliff since Tough. I don't know what has happened to his fighting style and his ability. He went from this crazy fun fighter on Tough to now being a patient, kind of a terrible fighter. And like he's had fucking 2 fights since winning Tough, and he's 1-1, and he's looked terrible in both of them. So not really. I like Ricky. I think he's a fun personality, and when he's on Tough, he is super cool. But again, since Tough, he's been a boring kind of point fighter, and unless I think the main way Ricky would win this fight is coming out here fighting like a psychopath, like he did on Tough. But even then, Raul will just take him down. Ricky has no takedown defense. We saw that against Brady Houston. We saw that against Kevin Natividad even. He has terrible takedown defense. And a guy like Raul, who's great on the ground, should take him down pretty easily. And even on the feet, I think they might be close to even at this point on the feet. With how Ricky has looked in UFC in the past couple fights. Raul's striking is getting better. He's not only 19 years old. He's learning on the job, literally. I think Raul is just a better fighter. Like, again, if we get to see tough Ricky, we're in for a treat. But I don't think we're going to see that Ricky, and even if we did, he'd probably get taken down anyway. So, my pick here is going to be, I'm going to put in the same pick I did for the first fight. I like to do that. I don't want to change it because I don't think anything has changed. Give me Raul Rosas by submission in the second. I think he's the better fighter. On the ground he is. On the feet he's close, if not the same. And yeah, I think he's going to do what he has to do to get the win here. In the fight that we're finally going to get to see this fight happen. Give me Raul Rosas by submission in the second. Same prediction I had the first time. If you want a more in-depth breakdown, go watch Marone on Royval. And yeah, not very much else to say. Happy we're finally getting to see this fight happen. And now for the co-main event of the evening, we head to light heavyweight for a fight that'll probably be pretty sad, as we have Dominic the Devastator Reyes versus Dustin the Hanyak Jacoby. Do I really gotta waste much time on this? Like, Dominic Reyes is so he is just so done. Like, we know the Dominic Reyes story by now. He beat John Jones, and then he went on a 3-fight losing streak, getting KO'd by Jan, Yuri, and Spann. His chin's gone. He's been off for 2 years now, almost. This is a more favorable matchup than Carlos Alberg. I don't know why on earth they were trying to book that fucking fight, but this is definitely a more favorable matchup, and it's a fight Dominic could win. It's just unlikely that he does win. I think he's done. I think PFL is waiting for him. He's not. The Jones fight, I think, kind of mentally broke him, and then he's now just physically broken. His chin's gone. His talent's gone. I just don't think he has I don't think he has it in him anymore. And we're going to see Saturday night. This is definitely his last chance. A loss here, and he is probably going to be in PFL before we even know it. And, yeah, it's a sad story. He beat John Jones, but he lost the belt to Jan, and now he's falling farther and farther down. Sad story, man. And for Dustin Jacoby, dude who has been underrated for a hot minute now. 7-5-1 in the UFC. He was really underrated for a minute, like when he went on this really nice winning streak when he got re-signed. But ever since that Dalton Jung, ever since the Khalil Roundtree fight, because he won that fight, he looked really mid. Even against Roundtree, he kind of looked mid. But like he looked terrible against Azamat Murzakanov. He knocked out fucking Kennedy and Dutchku, but that's aging not very well. And then Alonzo Menafield beat the shit out of him, which that's not aging very well. So he does fight a lot, which I definitely think has played a factor. He's fought 3 times in 2022 and 2023. He fought 4 times in 2021. He fought twice in 2020. So he's been active, which I think has been a blessing and a curse. And this is probably the most favorable fight for him in the rankings, but he definitely, I think the so consistent fighting has really fucked him up. So, but we'll see if he can get back on track here. He should. This is pretty much a gimme fight, and let's see if he can get a win. He is older. He is 36. He's 36 years old, taking a lot of damage in his last couple fights. Menafield beat him up pretty badly. He took a lot of damage against Khalil Roundtree. He's He's not the same fighter he was when he went on that nice giant winning streak, but he's still good, I think. And if he can win this fight, he'll prove that. But a loss here, you're the guy who lost to Dominic Reyes. Damn, man, that's fucked up. But we'll see what happens. You never know what can happen. And yeah, I'm intrigued. He should win this fight pretty easily. He was definitely Jacoby, Katona, and Bruno Fier were the three guys I was debating picking as my lock, and I of course went with Bruno, but Jacoby was right there. But out of those three, I think Jacoby has the best chance of choking in this easy win, so we'll see what happens. And we just hit the hour-and-a-half mark, so this is the new longest video on my channel. And yeah, not very much to say. Jacoby. The betting after this fight had Justin Jacoby minus 225 to plus 185. Yeah, Jacoby could be minus 300. Could Dominic Reyes turn back the clock? Yes. Is Dominic Reyes going to turn back the clock? No. He's 34 years old. 34 years old, coming off a brutal knockout in his last fight a year and a half ago. It's over. This is going to be Reyes' last fight in the UFC. He'll be in Bellator before we know it. So, give me Dustin Jacoby by knockout in the first. This is going to be sad. He's probably going to land a weak little shot that hurts Reyes, and then some ground, some TKO, whatever. Give me Dustin Jacoby by knockout in the first. It's going to be sad, but someone has to put Old Yeller down. Going to be Jacoby, I guess. Dustin Jacoby by knockout in the first. Could the upset happen? Possibly. It'd be nice. I'd be happy for Reyes. I think we all would be, but after a while, we gotta be realistic. So, sorry, Dom. Jacoby by knockout in the first. And now for the main event of the evening. In the middleweight division, we have a very tough fight to predict, and a very good one at that, as we have Jared Killa Gorilla Cannonier versus Nasruddin Russian Sniper Imavov. This is a good fight. This is a very good fight, a very tough fight to predict, and I'm excited. This should be a very entertaining fight. Let's start with Cannonier. I really don't need to talk deep on Jared Cannonier. I think we all know Jared Cannonier, but you know, I'll do it anyway. Jared in UFC is 9-7. He lost to Strickland, so that's why I took away a W. Since moving up to middleweight, he's been doing great. Well, it's funny, he lost to Dominic Reyes. What are the odds? His only losses at middleweight are Robert Whittaker, Izzy, and Sean Strickland. He's beat everyone else. Fucking Jack Hermanson, Anderson Silva, KG, Derek Brunson, Martin Vettori. He's beat everyone else. One of the only guys you've lost to are fucking Rob, Izzy, and Strickland. 3 former champions, or one of them who is the champion. That's fine. But the main problem with him in this fight is he is 40 years old coming off a year break. That's a big red flag. 40 years old coming off a year break fighting a guy like Imavov. There are some issues with that. Definitely a couple problems I can see there. I don't love that a 40-year-old is coming back after a year break to fight Imavov. He definitely he's definitely been crying a lot how he wants a title shot. You actually have to earn it. But even if he wins this fight, he ain't getting a title shot. He ain't getting even close. But you know, you shoot for the stars. But yeah, Jared, I don't think we're gonna see how washed he is on Saturday. I don't know. It's weird. Like his main skill point is his power, so that's not gonna. So we're gonna still see that as a fucking problem. But besides that, we're gonna really see how bad his cardio is, how bad his footwork is, his durability. We're gonna see a lot here, and I'm very intrigued. So this is gonna be a tough fight for him after a year break, coming off fighting Marvin Vettori. No less, a guy who's a human punching bag, to now fighting fucking Imavov. That's definitely a step up in competition, and I'm intrigued to see what happens here. So let's see if the 40-year-old can pull off another win here. To talk about his opponent, Nasruddin Imavov. Imavov in the UFC is 5-2-1. His 5 wins are Jordan Williams, Ian Heinisch, Edmund Shabazian, Joaquin Buckley, and Roman Dolidze. His 2 losses are Phil Hawes and Sean Strickland, and he had a no contest with Chris Curtis. Well, that really should be a win. Chris Curtis cried and quit, but whatever. Imavov's good. Imavov is good. I don't know how good he is. I don't think he's a top 5 level guy. He's good. He's top 10. He's top 10 level. But I've not really seen that performance from him that makes me say he's a top 5 guy. He smashed Edmund Shabazian. Yeah, he beat Joaquin Buckley, barely. Yeah, he looked fine versus Roman Dolidze. He was beating up Chris Curtis. Woo. I've not seen that performance from him that screams, I'm a top 5 guy. Cannonier had that performance a couple times. With the Brunson fight, with the fucking, Jack Hermanson fight, with the fucking a couple fights. He's shown he is that guy. With the Vittori fight even. I've not seen that from Imavov. This could be that. This could be Lerone Murphy versus Edson Barboza. It kind of gives me that vibe. The young guy who's trying to prove he's legit fighting the old veteran. It's gonna be interesting. Imavov really has a lot to prove here. He's going to fight like he normally does, like Sorogan. He's gonna fight, bounce on his feet, fucking do what he does and all that. We'll see. Like, he did not really impress me much against Dolidze. Yeah, he clearly beat him, but it wasn't a great performance against a guy who's not good. So I'm intrigued to see how Imavov does here. This is definitely the biggest fight of his career, and a win here and he's in the top 5. A loss, and who knows what happens with him. I think a loss here and he's going to just be a forever top 10, top 15 even guy. Because he is good. Is he... Sorry, I got hiccups. Is he top 5 good? I don't think so. But we're going to find out. Middleweight is bad enough where he could be a top 5 guy, so... Guess we find out Saturday night, don't we? He has 5 rounds to prove something. The betting answers fight have Imavov minus 140 to plus 120. I think he's dropped as a favorite to more like a minus 120, minus 125. This should be a pick'em. We don't know how Jared's going to look. We don't know if Imavov's really a top 5 guy. This is a fight full of questions that we don't have the answer to yet. When we finally get the answer to it, then yeah, we can really say a lot. But right now, I don't think we have the answers to these questions. How will Jared look? No idea. Physically, he looks fucking amazing for a 40-year-old. But who knows how he looks in a cage. Imavov, we've not seen him. The only time he fought a guy close to... the only time he fought a guy who was a top 5 level guy was Sean Strickland. He got dominated. So how does he look here in his second chance, I guess? We'll see. Is he really a top 5 level guy at middleweight? We'll see. So I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what happens here. And it's gonna be a good fight. I don't know if we'll get a finish. If we did, it'd probably be Jared knocking out Imavov, which is a possibility, you never know. But I'm intrigued. I think this is gonna be a very intriguing fight, probably a really close fight, maybe even a debated decision. We'll see. But either a veteran's gonna turn back the clock, or a youngster is going to show that he's legit. I'm intrigued to see what happens. Let's see. Who's my pick? Give me the veteran. Give me Jared Cannonier. He's been in this spotlight before. He's ready for the spotlight. He's been off for a year, which ain't great, but he's a veteran. He's trying to defend his top 5 ranking. He's fighting a dude who knows if he's even that good. The height is definitely a problem, 6'3" to 5'11". Jared's definitely gonna have problems in that department, but you never know. He could get on the inside, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens. I'm gonna go Jared Cannonier. Give me. I think he's gonna win this fight, not by knockout. I think by decision, but I think it's gonna be really competitive, and it could be a split decision. You never know, but let's see what happens. Should be a good main event to end UFC Louisville, and I'm gonna go Jared Cannonier by decision. That's all I gotta say. If I'm wrong, I'm not upset. If I'm right, I feel like it's pure luck. Let's see what happens. finally, boom. Those are my picks, an hour and 39 minutes in. What the fuck is wrong with me? To go over my picks one more time. Puja Tomar by decision. Taylor Lapilus by decision. Eduarda Moura by decision. John Castañeda by decision. Andrea Lee by decision. Brad Katona by decision. Charles Prates by knockout in the second. Ľudovít Klein by decision. Miguel Baeza by knockout in the second. Reese by knockout in the second. My lock of the night, Bruno Ferreira by knockout in the first. Raul Rosas Jr. by submission in the second. Dustin Jacoby by knockout in the first. And Jared Cannonier by decision. Boom! Finally, 14 fights broke down. I did not want this video to be this long, trust me. But I just love talking about MMA. I could do it for days, man. And I know that having a video this long is probably fucking not getting many views. I don't care. I'd rather give you the best video I can, me rambling on for as long as I can, than me giving you a short shit video that I did not put my heart into. I sat here, right where I am, for an hour and 40 minutes. I barely got up, I barely took a break. I sat here for 1 hour and 40 minutes and talked about MMA for your enter-fucking-tainment. I don't know if anyone actually enjoyed it, or anyone actually watched it, but I sat here for an hour and 40 minutes and broke down this card in depth as possible for your fucking entertainment. I hope you enjoyed the video. You'll hear from me Sunday, hopefully. I want to get consistent with recaps. That's my fucking goal. I want to get consistent getting recaps back out on time at 1 o'clock on Sunday. I don't know if it'll be 1 o'clock, but I'm going to try. Yeah, and hopefully that video won't be an hour and 40 minutes. But if it is, it is. Can't complain. But the only thing left to say is, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. That I talked for this long for your entertainment. So I hope you enjoyed it. You'll hear from me Sunday for a recap of this card. And, yeah, once I'm going to say something, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And, as always, RX is out. Good vibes. Only and always.